Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle, and today we're going to be talking about wingmen. Should you have them? And what are the pluses and minuses of having wingmen? For me personally, whenever I started my cold approach journey and started getting over my approach anxiety, I never had wingmen to go with me, hold my hand, essentially, or to watch and see them get rejected and be like, oh, okay, that's not such a big deal. Nope, I did everything myself. And come to think of it, I think that's probably the best way of going about it. For instance, a lot of times people will ask me, like, oh, do you work out with a workout partner? Or like, we should work out sometime. And honestly, I don't really like doing that because I have my own thing that I want to do when I go to the gym. And I don't want to have to worry about another guy, his feelings, what he wants to do, whether that conflicts with mine. Like, it's just another variable, like a monkey wrench to throw into your plans when you've got a job to do, right? And that's the same way I feel about cold approach and going with a wingman to make it easier for yourself. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to make it easier for yourself because it's just one more variable that you need in order to make the approach, right? And I can kind of see, like, if you've got a very motivated friend that's equally as motivated as you, yes, the first couple times going out together to potentially hit on chicks is totally fine, but you could have accomplished the exact same thing by yourself. Because here's what happens. If you go out by yourself enough times, to hit on chicks, whether you approach them or not, eventually you go out enough times and eventually you'll just be like, all right, I'm going for it. Like, there's no holding back. You become so accustomed to that same feeling of like seeing attractive women and not approaching them that it just becomes like, all right, I've got to do this. There's no turning back. I'm going for it. And whether that's a friend's with you to hold your hand to do that is really irrelevant. You're going to face your own demons here, okay? It's your own like mental blocks that are going to be broken down. And yes, maybe if your friend is more ballsy than you and you can see him approach and maybe he gets rejected, maybe he doesn't. At the end of the day, what if he gets rejected and you feel like, oh man, like I don't know if I'm not really cut out for this. He's getting rejected all the time. I'm losing motivation, right? He's getting rejected all the time and I'm losing motivation watching him get like turned down all the time. And so, yes, it's kind of like a double-edged sword on going with a wingman. And yes, eventually you're going to have to do this by yourself, right? There's no getting around it. The wingman's not going to be beside you 24 hours a day, ready to hold your hand whenever you see a hot girl that you want to approach. So this is a demon that you're going to have to conquer yourself. There's no getting around it. And in day game scenarios. Now, I can totally understand going with a wingman to social events, like going to the bar or going to a club, going to a party, going to like a church, whatever your avenue is, and there's lots of people around. Going with a friend definitely helps because you can build each other up. You can talk amongst yourselves, and it's very good for, social proof. Basically, like, you're not a loner. You're not there by yourself scoping around for chicks. No, you're there with a friend. So it puts the guard down. For most people, it puts like, oh, okay, he's with his friend. It makes it a little bit easier in those social environments where lots of people are around with lots of different friends. So yes, in these environments, wingmen are awesome because like that's what you expect. People are going with friends, right? It's a big group. People are going to go with friends. They're not most likely going to go by themselves. But even going by yourself does have its advantages because, women are a lot more likely to spark up a conversation when you're by yourself and as opposed to, with some friends. But yes, Being in social environments with another guy or other guys definitely helps, because you can split off. You can both do your own thing, hit on chicks, and then gradually, meet up later on. Yeah, totally understandable. Do not use this wingman thing as a crutch, being like, oh no, like I can't go out, like my wingman's not here, like I don't want to go out by myself. Recipe for disaster. You're gonna have to go out eventually and do this by yourself. Why not just jump over that hurdle immediately instead of putting it off, being like, no, like I've got to go with a wingman? Just realize that, yes, I'm going to have to do this by myself eventually anyways, so I might as well do it now, right? And that's way you can go out whenever you want. You don't have to worry about coordinating with another person's schedule. And yes, eventually you go out enough times, eventually you're going to make that approach. You're going to eventually overcome that anxiety and make that approach. It's just a matter of time. Going with a wingman ends up being kind of like an excuse, being like, oh no, I can't go out and meet women because I don't have my wingman, or I'd really like to have a wingman to go out with. No, it's just an excuse. Just go out by yourself. You're going to have to do this eventually, so you might as well do it now, right? I did it. Most guys do this. They do this by themselves. And it's the same thing with like the gym. You're like, oh no, I got to go to the gym with a workout buddy. Really? Is he going to be there for the rest of your life to hold your hand while you lift weights? No, you're going to have to go by yourself and learn to go by yourself. And that's the same thing with this wingman situation. Do not let a wingman, oh no, like if I'm going to approach women, I really want a wingman to go with. It's like, no, you can do this by yourself. And there's a lot less pressure going out by yourself. You don't have to worry about another person. You're battling your own demons when you're like building yourself up to approach. Why do I want to throw in another variable with another friend that's going through the same thing? It's just like, ugh. And let's say he's really good and he's just like crushing it, and you're just watching him being like, oh man, like I wish I could do that. It's just a bad environment. It doesn't matter if he does really well or does really bad. It's going to affect you, right? You have to conquer this. You have to do this by yourself and being like, okay, if I go out enough times with the intent of talking to women that I find attractive, eventually it's going to happen. Eventually I'm going to overcome this anxiety and I'm going to shoot my shot. And it may not be the first time that you go out. It may not be the second. However many times it takes, eventually you're going to make that shot and you're going to be like, maybe you get rejected, maybe you don't, maybe it's a flying success, but eventually you're going to be like, okay, I made the approach. She wasn't available, wasn't interested, whatever, but it wasn't the end of the world. It didn't even hurt at all. I'm like, that's what I was afraid of this whole time. It's all in your mind. This whole notion of like a woman saying no to you, not interested, is like this huge thing you build up in your mind. And as soon as you experience it, it's like, oh, that's it. That's all I was afraid of this happening. Completely like washes over you. And now you're ready to go again. You're ready to make another approach. You're ready to try again because you've experienced, the dreaded rejection that everybody fears, that it's built into your DNA to fear people saying no to you, fear people saying like not interested. And if you can get over that, like that's the first hurdle to overcome. And then after that, it's pretty smooth sailing. Once you continue to build up momentum, the first one's done, the next one after that's going to be even easier than that one. Yes, wingmen are awesome in like social environments. Whenever you're doing approaches that are going to be alone, like in day game situations, most of your approaches, you're going to be by yourself. So you might as well just go out by yourself without a wingman to, battle your demons, to overcome that fear. No one can do that for you. Watching other people approach can actually make it worse. Anyways, guys, that's the video. If you need help doing this, cold approach, getting over your approach anxiety, making the most out of your dating life, I help guys do that. There's coaching links down below if you're interested. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.